I have to start with the fact that I loved this story because I feel like George and Luke kind of created something different. Like it's not boilerplate. There's humor to it. There's a tiredness to him as well. Someone who's been doing a lot of it was too. So, how did you see John yourself, and what made you excited to play him?
Well, I love the fact that you saw those things because a lot of those he's a flawed leading man, right? The character he's flawed. He's got all the issues that we all deal with. Like I'm in my 40s, I know what it feels like to wake up in the morning and like pull yourself out of bed because you're aching, um, and he is somebody that's lived for his job. He feels like the boat past having a family and a child and settling down. So his life is his work, and he likes his job. But I think he is a little jaded. He's a little tired with life. I mean, he gets paid, but he doesn't really have anything else. And I thought, well, that's a relatable thing. He's an everyman. And put in a position where he has to fight. He's not a trained fighter, but he'll do and use whatever he has to hand to get himself out of it. And I think he's a good guy. Essentially, he is a good guy. He's made mistakes in life, and when presented with a future life that he wasn't expecting, he gets his head around it. And I thought, well, how can I present this man and how he would deal with it? Probably the same way as I would deal with it. Go for a shot of whiskey and then process the whole situation. It's like, okay, now I have a very intelligent 12-year-old or 14-year-old kid and an ex-girlfriend who clearly is running the show. So I loved that dynamic. I felt like it felt very real. It felt very present and relatable. And I think that's why I love the show. I love the film so much because you can relate to the story. You're in there with them. You want them to survive. You want them to succeed. You want them to be happy. It's a nice thing. It's a nice thing.
No, for sure. Well, and I also like how kind of matter of fact he was, even with, I guess, the way the action was. Did what was planned out in the action ahead of time, and what was just like, okay, well, we're here. Why don't you grab that? Why don't you grab this? Let's make use of this stuff. I mean, there's a kitchen scene, there's a hotel scene, there's a bunch of other stuff. We kind of just uses what's available because why not? Kind of
Yeah.
feeling.
Yeah, no, well, I arrived 3 weeks earlier than shooting so we could rehearse and come up with ideas. And there's a lot of little details in there that I put in, um, you know, and everybody, contributes to building a fight sequence that has character and is connected to who John was, and I love the fact that John uses woks, he uses blades, he needs a chop, a flame, he's burning the top of a creme brulee with a little torch at one point, and the next minute he's lighting somebody on fire with it. This is a man who just does what he needs to do to survive. And he gets exhausted at one point, and then a new influx of you know, gangsters arrive in this kitchen, and he just needs a second to just take some water. I mean, there's a lot of charm to that, and I find that it's real, and it feels like, oh, well, that's probably how I would be if it was me. I'd be dealing with the same situation. I'd probably process it the same way.
So I have to ask. Excuse me here. I'm in the middle of everything here, but I do have to ask. I'm so excited. Have you finished shooting on Criminal yet? Because it looks so good, and I'm so excited for this.
No, I just had 3 days off filming to come to Los Angeles to do this and celebrate the release of Weekend in Taipei, and then I go back tomorrow and I carry on shooting. We've got a few weeks left. It's been an amazing shoot. It's really exciting, and I think the fans of the comic, I think they'll be very happy. It's in
Well,
very
not
good
only that,
hands.
I mean, the acting resume on this is amazing. You have Charlie, you have Amelia. I mean, you have John. I mean, there's so many great people in this too. So, what was it, getting on this set where sometimes you get on a set and it's like, okay, this is kind of comic booky or whatever else, but this graphic adaptation is so much more than that. And I mean, even your character alone, Tracy, must be amazing for you.
Yeah, it's a big journey he goes on. It's a journey of self-discovery and shedding of identity and finding a new identity. And Yeah, it's really intense. It's probably one of the most intense things I've done for a long time. Um, and you know, we've got there's a scar and all this very identifiable stuff from the comic that we are being very loyal to, and having Ed Brubaker on set every day as the showrunner is really exciting because, you know, that's the man that created the person I'm playing. You know, it's very exciting, and Portland has been a great host and is a wonderful backdrop for Bay City.
All right. Well, I have to let you go, but I guess just one last thing from you is we should be excited for Criminal then. Very much so, right?
I would be, yeah.